After my juvenile life, when I was 15, I got tattoos on my face. I was already from a neighborhood. I pretty much gave up on life. So when people see gang members are crazy and stuff, they're really not crazy. They're really just suicidal. You're just suicidal and you want to die for something, and you just think a street is fine to die for, you know? That's pretty much my story. I was a good gang member, but I was just suicidal. I just wanted to die. As a kid who has no hope, it's hard to find the hope again, you know? I probably was 10 years old and I was starting to become a teenager. Then my family started falling apart. I'd get in fights with my dad. He'd kick me out. My mom wouldn't defend me. So that's when I first started experiencing homelessness, and I'd sleep in parks. I'd try to cover my face so nobody would recognize that I was a girl. I was only like 11 years old, 12. That's when I was pretty much introduced to gangs. In my neighborhood, people view gang members as bad people. They're really not bad. They're just broken inside. They come from broken homes. They don't have nowhere to go. So you just build your own little, pretty much your own crew. You become part of a gang, and it gives you that support, that love that you just don't get. It's not a good love because they don't teach you anything. I got into the foster system about, I think, 12 years old, 13. And the reason I hate the foster system is because they place foster kids in juvenile halls on hold. You tell the kids in juvenile hall, if you keep being bad, you don't have a home to go to, right? Well, most of us in the juvenile halls don't have a home to go to, so why would we even behave good? I never had no stable housing. After probation camps, I still never had stable housing. When I was 18, I was sent to prison, and I had to do 60 months with half. I got out of prison, I was 19. I got pregnant with my daughter, and I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I wanted to keep her or not. To be honest, I didn't know anything. Went to jail again pregnant, and I started realizing, it wasn't until I went to jail pregnant that I realized I don't want this life no more. I couldn't eat the food anymore. Before, as a youth, I didn't care if you sent me to jail because I didn't have nowhere to go. I couldn't get no job. I couldn't do anything. The system wouldn't help juveniles. They just don't help. There's nothing they can do to juveniles. Even the public defenders, as much as they wanted to help you to stop coming back, they can't offer me housing as a kid, so there was nothing nobody could do. So when I was pregnant, I was in the county, I thought about everything a little bit more, and I just wanted something else. So when I got out, I went to Homeboys and I started working on myself a little bit more. I had to sign a lease, which was about $1,400. There was the only lease. Probation said you have 30 days to get an apartment or else you're going to go back to jail. And I was pregnant, so I really didn't want to go back to jail no more, you know? It was horrible. I had to work 2 jobs. I was able to be referred to Good Shepherd. I stayed at Good Shepherd. Once I came to Good Shepherd, they told me about the program. They told me I'd get my own apartment. I said, okay, great, more stability. Elvia Valdez is the associate director of the Good Shepherd Center, and she's pretty much just been like a mom figure. Believe it or not, even if I was homeless, I would still get A's in school and community college. I stayed in community college for 3 years. I was still able to have my job, work, go to school full time, and take care of my daughter. So I used to work next to the legal department, and one of the lawyers there was like, hey, what do you want to do? And I was already in a college class, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. She's like, you should be a lawyer, because I was always hanging out with her. I'd go run with her and everything. And I just thought she was crazy for saying that. You know, I'm like, dude, I went to prison. I can't be a lawyer. She's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, okay. So then Brittany, which is at Homeboys too in the education department, she's like, you could be whatever you want. So she enrolled me in the major political science, which I'm still in. And I've been able to graduate from community college with 3.9. And I applied to 5 universities, which was UCLA, UC Berkeley, Riverside, and Irvine, and USC. And I got accepted to all of them, and I got 4 rides in all of them. I chose UCLA, which I start tomorrow. I kind of started reading today, it's a little bit of a handful, but it's fine. But I think the biggest blessing, the biggest stability that anyone can have, which is why people reoffend, why people can't get their lives together, is because there's no housing. Housing is ridiculously expensive. I now pay 80% of my income, which is I can still afford everything. It's a lot more doable. I can still afford McDonald's sometimes with my daughter. I can still afford things. As far as what made me turn my life around, I think it was my daughter. I think it was, if I wanted to do something, I didn't want my daughter to look back and be like, Mom, what did you do with your life? You didn't do nothing. And I didn't want her to be like, oh, it's okay. She doesn't have to do anything. Plus, I love school. I love learning about topics that I never learned as a kid. And I think that's how I've been able to make it. And I've kind of learned, it's not really how smart you are. It's how much time you put effort in to get that A in the class. My life just got 100 times better just knowing that I have stability and I have housing. Everything else just falls in place. So I do believe in miracles. Sometimes I look back and I look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I think I've made it this far. It's been a miracle that I've been able to make it this far. I go to church in Pacoima of St. Jude, and I believe in St. Jude a lot because he's like the saint of the impossible miracles, I guess. And just know that miracles can happen, and I want everyone else to know that. I want everyone else that's been in my position to know you can still do it. You can do whatever your dreams your dreams are, they're not crazy. So I think with the help of the Good Shepherd Center and like other Catholic charities throughout LA, I think having them being able to look at people like me and understand that they're worth saving, they're worth the time, they're worth giving them housing to, and not think we're the worst of the worst thing we've done, is pretty much one of the biggest things that I hope everyone continues to do, putting that money and that effort into people like me, continue giving to the communities that are broken, continue giving to all those nonprofits that are trying to just get the best out of all those people that are labeled as bad people. As far as life now, I think it's a lot better. I see the future a lot clearer. I can sleep better. I know everything's gonna be okay.